Hey guys, before we get into this video, I just want to address some things going on in the world that are much more important than anything in this video. So before you do watch this, please go to the top link in the description below. Right there'll be loads of ways you can support the Black Lives Matter movements. There's petitions to sign, there's places to donate. Do anything you can to educate yourselves, speak out against the horrible things that are going on in the world currently and have been going on in the world for a very long time and need to end. So please, before you watch this video, go out and do all of that. And there's a link in the description below, as I said, where you can start that. So thank you very much and enjoy the video.
Everyone seems to be having fun. Best of all, there are no parents, no other adults, no one to interfere with the fall of Billy Haze.
Welcome to AEC Media, and this is a new series I'm looking to start. There's not actually a name for it yet, but basically I wanted to do produce some kind of new content. There is a bit of inspiration coming from Mark Andrews' series in terms of watching matches, but instead of watching people's first matches, we're going to watch people's favourite matches. My first guest for today is Billy Haze. Hello, Billy.
Hi.
Do you want to, just before we get into it, do you want to shout out kind of where you wrestle, or not wrestling at all at the moment, but where you have where
I'm
people might
sitting
know
at
you
home.
from, where people can find you currently, and all that kind of good stuff.
So yeah, I've wrestled for like companies in London a lot, just up and down London. So Soul, Battle Pro, WrestleForce, just wrestled for Clash on the last show. That was really nice to do. IWL, like we're gonna watch one of the matches from that now. And at the moment, I've just moved to Wales, so I've not got a lot of bookings over here. Just getting the couple here and there, and then I'm hopefully going to get more soon.
Yeah. And as you said, this match we're going to be watching from IWL. I believe it's your first match in IWL.
It's my first match. I didn't run in on the show before this.
To set up this
which
match.
Was not. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't set up this match at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because wasn't it Sexsmith's injury that kind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were obviously. It was just before, just after Sexsmith got injured, and like he was supposed to be doing the angle of running in and like costing Michael the tournament. So I was kind of just there on the show day, and I kind of got pushed in last second to do the angle, and then we were gonna like at a later point say that it was I was like Sexsmith's mate in the whole thing. But then we kind of Sexsmith just didn't come back to wrestling, unfortunately, and then we just had to run with what we had, and I managed to get a really good match with Michael. One of my favourite matches with Michael.
Yeah, it's a strange wrestling venue though, Residence Gallery. It's like quite an iconic venue really in London. But
in London, yeah, there's so many shows that run out of there. It's borderline ridiculous.
It's all they do, isn't it? Like they don't do anything else. Which is
just a wrestling venue.
Which is weird. Is it the only just wrestling venue like in the country? I don't know of any others personally.
Yeah, that I can think of at the moment.
Obviously, we spoke briefly about Michael, and he's probably the best guy in the country at the moment in terms of just being no contract whatsoever. How, like, you've worked with him a lot in terms of training as well. How inspirational was his story and what he's done to you as a performer?
I mean, Michael's ridiculous. Like, for someone that would be considered on the smaller side of wrestling, he's still taken what he's done and made it such a big theatrical, and it made it so important. Like, there's not many people that are Michael's size, and he's not much bigger than me. Like, not much. Like, there's not much difference between us. I'm saying, and for someone of our size to like make the impact that he has is mental.
And it's not just. It's just him coming from a place of like, I think a lot of people, myself included, before I really watched him wrestle, was you kind of seen him around. He as a personality guy almost. And he still is 100% a personality guy, but he's shown that he's more than that as well in a lot of recent matches.
So when I started training, he was very much just a exclusive, like, well, he, like Will Ospreay said it, like, he was a comedy wrestler when I started wrestling, and like, and don't know if he would agree to it or what, but there was a point where Will said to him that he's a comedy wrestler, and then he kind of just changed his whole act and his whole everything that he does into this new wrestler that puts on like amazing matches with everyone.
Yeah. Obviously, like the one thing that I do like about IWL is the way they treat it as this kind of like the whole, like, they treat it like a sport in the case of it's international wrestling league, so they announce you what country you're representing from every time you go there, and that's like, it's one of those things that they keep it consistent with like what their name branding is and then what they actually do at the shows as well, which is something I appreciate about them.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it gives it that kind of like fight feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like MMA announcements more than wrestling announcements. It's just a small thing that they do, but it makes them different. Obviously talk about this.
No.
I was like, you can kind of see, you'll see me at a few points in this video as well. Just straight from work in my shirt, and this was a day when it was boiling hot as well, wasn't it? This was like,
yeah, this was boiling. It was the hottest day of the year, and we were in this, like, we were second to last match, so everything was sweaty as anything. This is literally my favourite part of the whole match. This one thing right here, that's my favourite part of the whole match, and it's got nothing to do with the rest of the match. I just love that part.
Is it just like the psychology almost of you trying to get away and him?
Yeah, just like it, like we like talked about it and everything. It kind of just went exactly how we wanted it to.
Yeah.
I'm already so tired because it's so hot at this point. Yeah.
This is like Billy Haze trademarks of just like pulling at everything he gets a hold of.
This was also the first match Eddie Dennis has seen of me live. Like, he was in the background hiding somewhere watching the match. And
obviously he had a hand in your training at Knuckle Locks as well. So
yeah, it was a massive help in my training and everything, humbling me and everything.
And this is something I want to touch on actually. So if we actually hear this, like, is that something that when you're in there and you get that kind of reaction when they're making up these kind of chants, is that something that actually fills you with a little bit of joy, even though it is insulting you, but that's your job? Like, I kind
of didn't really notice what they were calling me at the point. I didn't know what it was exactly. I knew they'll call me some sort of twat, but I didn't realise what it was until after the match.
I bet this was a relief. Nice. Getting to like rest up a little bit.
No, this was just sweaty. This is horrible and sweaty. Just trying to keep my grip during this whole thing.
Yeah. And Michael doesn't let up either. Like, he was like yanking on it. He was like not letting you, like, you have to actually keep.
He's not letting me have a rest at any point. No, that was my mistake. I hooked the inside leg.
Oh.
Notoriously bad leg to hook. You always hook outside.
And then they're going for your finish again. Is that like, that's the thing I noticed with a lot of your matches, is you do go for your finish at every given opportunity. Is that part of your psychology as well?
Yeah, it wins a match. You drop someone on the head, you win, don't you? Right.
I mean, you were using it before you had a match with Hitch as well.
Yeah, I was, but it was watching his videos of him doing it that kind of made me realise it's such a good and devastating move, to the point where I should just use it as a finish, even though I didn't ask him at the start.
Yeah.
I've kind of just pushed him into like him wanting me to use it now.
Yeah. Well, Devlin uses it as well, doesn't he? Or
he
used
does,
it. I don't think he uses it anymore.
Yeah, like I think there is a slight difference between the package pile driver and a trapper keeper. It's not much. It's like the difference between like a cutter and a a cutter and an RKO.
Yeah.
like that levels, but it's more, yeah, it's more of a trapper keeper than the like Kevin Steen style pole driver. Oh, I remember going through this and just being so sad when I landed.
Oh.
It was so lonely.
As if you needed to be winded anymore in like the heat that you're in and whatever else. The thing that I love about OJMO is he never stops selling or giving personality in his face or anything. It's on
His
all the time.
facial expressions are amazing.
That's one thing that you've really been doing a lot is like how many ways someone can get out of the pole driver as well. Like you've made so many creative ways of people getting out of the pole driver. I don't know how much has to do with you or them, but
I think I've only genuinely came up with one way to get out of it that I've never seen anyone else do. But like the rest, I just take from like again, I just take from Hitch and see a match with him. Like I've seen so many matches where like he's done that with like Flash or like Osprey and like where they've just done so many cool reversals out of it. And like some of them that I saw after the fact that I thought I created it, quote unquote created.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And again, the theme of this match is both guys going for their finish constantly.
It's the thing that like me and Michael are probably the most known for at this point. I remember this was like just after Michael's big match with Pac, and like because when we were like planning the match, and then he kept on like talking about things that like he had got from the match with Pac and like the loads of like psychology that he had got from him. I remember like so many spots that were like, oh yeah, like, and so many things that he changed because of that match with Pac. Like he probably changed half of the things that he was doing because of it.
And if you want a referee for something like this, it needs to be Martin as well. Like
Martin's great. I don't understand how like he's only at like working for the companies that he's working for. He's got such good facial expressions. He's got such good reactions to what's happening in the ring. Like, and he's just a genuinely good ref.
Yeah. Like you never let it get in the way of actually reffing as well. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like he does the job of being a ref, but also adds in the extra stuff on top of it. And I'm sorry, but Michael's neck needs like I don't know how it survives on a daily basis with those kind of.
I think this was a point where Michael's neck was okay.
Yeah.
Quote unquote okay.
Yeah, but you can see why it quickly went not okay by those last two moves, but especially the DDT, the way he spiked that is just. It's not even just a spike, it's a twist as well, which is disturbing more than anything.
Yeah.
And that's a good the thing about Michael as well is him doing this match and he's not beating you with a finish, he's beating you with a roll up. And I think that shows something to him about how generous he is as a performer as well.
I remember going through the match and like how like we had such like amazing ideas for it and so many things that we wanted to do, but like it was just a matter of us like making it the best match possible. And it was like it's one of my favorite matches to this day, and it was a good year ago. Like the only one that comes into close contention is the one that I had with Mills, like I just said. It's just so much in like the meaning. It was the first time I wrestled for IWL. It was the first time I wrestled Michael, who I've wanted to wrestle for a long time at this point, who I want to wrestle again now. And even like having like Eddie there, which was his first match that he's seen of me, and there was so much meaningful, like everything about it was so meaningful, and how like I wasn't chosen for the role, but I was trusted to fulfill it.
And that's
kind of meant a lot for me.
That's kind of like a theme of your career as well, is that you don't like at Seoul you got your debut because you were fitting in a place, and it seems to be a thing that happens quite a lot. Is like obviously it's something you want to break from eventually, but is this a good place for you to be in your career now, where people, like, if you're there, people are like, oh god, yeah, we can use him, like that?
Yeah, I love the fact that like no matter what, I'm trustworthy to be able to put into a match wherever I'm needed. That's kind of the role I want to be able to fill. I don't really want to, like, as much as I would like to be like main event everywhere, and I'm not saying I wouldn't like to be like in every single main event everywhere, and I'm trying to get to that point. I'm really happy and I'm glad being the person that everyone can trust to just have a good match.
So that's about it. So thank you for joining me very much. I'll be
Thank
looking
you.
to do this with a lot more people in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, however long I can convince people to come on this show. So if there's anyone in particular that you want, drop it down in the comments. Bear in mind my scope. I can probably get a lot of London-based British indie wrestlers. That's probably where it's going to start. And then
I
as it
want
grows,
Michael on it. I want Michael to come on there now.
oh, he can't use this match now, so that's out. But
He can.
he can he can use, I don't know how Rev Pro will feel about him using the pack match, but we can use that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll. Michael's definitely someone I want to show. Mills. There's a whole laundry list of people I could list off now, which hopefully will happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, hopefully I'll have another one up next week. I'm hoping this will go up at some point this weekend. That's the weekend of, today's June 4th. So at some point this weekend, this should be up. So yeah, just go over all of Billy's details would have flashed at the start of the video, and all of my social media will flash at the start of the video, but they'll also be in the description below, as well as IWL, Michael, and loads of other stuff, as well as the Black Lives Matters link that I mentioned right at the start of the video. Again, that's going to be right at the top. That's the most important thing right now, and it's always the most important thing. So please go click that link and see what you can do. And that'll be the end of the video, guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.